Welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. At this time, I would like to ask everyone who is able to please stand as we say of our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will now call our meeting to order. Please, if everyone would silence their cell phones at this time. For those of you who do not have a copy of the agenda or who are attending for the first time, we will concern ourselves with the cases that are on consent. These are cases that have been reviewed by the board and by the professionals from various departments in the county, and to which there is no known opposition at this time. We have discussed these in our work session. Certain staff comments and stipulations have been made, and we do not anticipate any further discussion is needed for a decision. So as we go forward, Mr. Martin will read each case into record. Mr. Martin will ask that you raise your hand as your case is called to signify that you are present. If you are here in opposition to a case that is currently on consent, Mr. Martin will ask you to identify yourself as that case is read into the record. We will then pull that case off consent and hear it as part of our regular case agenda. We will then vote on all the cases still on consent at one time. Once we have approved the cases on consent, we will move on to our regular case agenda. With that being said, we are ready to address the consent cases. Mr. Martin, if you will take it from here.
Thank you. Before we do get started, I do have one quick announcement regarding today's agenda. We have one case which has been withdrawn, that is V57 Ashley Barton. That case was withdrawn without prejudice and will not be heard today. So with that, begin the consent agenda. The Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals variance hearing consent agenda for May 10th, 2023 starts with V40, Christine LOBDELL RANEY, requesting a variance to 1, allow a second electrical meter on residential lot, and 2, reduce the side setback from the required 10 feet to 9.5 feet adjacent to the western property line, an existing condition, in land lot 695 of the 19th District. The property is located on the southwest side of Pear Road, northwest of Shady Side Road. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval subject to development and inspections comments, and the shed not to be used for residential or commercial uses. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here in opposition of V40? No. Seeing no opposition. Next case is V44, MARQUITA Jackson, requesting a variance to reduce the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, a 418 square foot gazebo, from the required 12 feet to 2 feet in land lot 300 of the 20th District. The property is located on the southwest side of Julia Drive, south of Due West Road. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval subject to development inspections comments, stormwater management comments, and fire department comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here in opposition to V44? No. Let the record show there's no opposition. Next case is V53, Helder Zanella, requesting a variance to reduce the rear setback from the required 35 feet to 32 feet existing, and reduce the side setback from 10 feet to 5 feet adjacent to the eastern property line, and reduce the front setback from the required 30 feet to 25 feet in land lot 792 of the 17th District. The property is located at the northeast intersection of Robin Lane and Friedel Road. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval subject to development inspections comments, stormwater management comments, and fire department comments. Is the applicant present? Let the Record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here in opposition to V53? Let the record show there's no opposition. Next case is V54, James R. Dow, requesting a variance to reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, a proposed approximately 288 square foot shed from the required 35 feet to 11 feet in land lot 37 of the 16th district. The property is located on the west side of Surrey Drive, south of Old Mountain Park Road. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval, subject to development inspections comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here in opposition to V54? No. Let the record show there's no opposition. And the final case on consent today is V55, Gary A. Wirt. Sorry, it's not the final. Gary A. Wirt requesting a variance to allow a non-ground-based monument-style sign in land lot 645 of the 16th district, located on the south side of Ernest Barrett Parkway, east of Roberts Court, west of Interstate 575. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval, subject to traffic comments. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here in opposition to V55?
No.
Let the record show there's no opposition. Next case on consent is V56, DAMALIE Gutierrez, requesting a variance to reduce the side setback from the required 12 feet to 3 feet adjacent to the northern property line, reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, an existing approximately 160 square foot canopy from the required 40 feet to 0 feet, reduce the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, the existing approximately 160 square foot canopy from required 12 feet to 0 feet adjacent to the northern property line, reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, an existing approximately 232 square foot wood deck from the required 40 feet to 20 feet, reduce the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, the existing approximately 232 square foot wood deck from required 12 feet to 4 feet adjacent to the north property line, and reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet, an existing approximately 150 square foot shed from the required 40 feet to 7 feet in land lot 601 of the 19th district. The property is located on the east side of Florence Road, south of Moon Road, and the Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval subject to traffic comments, development inspections comments, site plan review comments, and stormwater management comments. Is the applicant for V56 present?
Yes.
Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here in opposition to case V56?
No.
Let the record show there's no opposition. And finally, there is V58, James T. Hunt, requesting a variance to reduce the rear setback from the required 40 feet to 31 feet, and to reduce the front setback from the required 25 feet to 23 feet existing in land lot 86 of the 1st District. The property is located on the west side of Old Town Lane, north of Old Town Parkway. The Board of Zoning Appeals recommends approval subject to fire department comments. Is the applicant for V58 present?
Yes.
Let the record show the applicant is present. Is there anyone here in opposition to V58?
No.
Let the record show there is no opposition. And that completes the consent agenda.
Okay, so it's back to this board. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns about these cases from any of our board members? If not, then I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Please enter your vote.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Summerhour, second by Ms. Swanson. Passes 5-0. Thank you. For those of you whose case was on consent, you are free to go now, quietly if you would. If you do leave, we would ask again that you leave quietly. Those that are here for the regular cases, we're about to address that. Mr. Martin?
Okay. Moving along to our one case on today's regular agenda. That is V52 Michael Cotton, who is requesting a variance to reduce the rear setback for an accessory use in the existing 572 square foot basketball court from the required 20 feet to 4 feet in land lot 430 of the 19th District. The property is located on the east side of Whitman Drive, north of Thayer Drive. Is the applicant present? All right. The applicant is here. Would the applicant, anyone wishing to speak on this application, please come forward to be sworn in?
Before we get started, I omitted something. Let me give you the proceedings first. So as we proceed, we will read, Mr. Martin just read the case into the record. The applicant or any representative of the applicant who wishes to speak will be asked to come forward to be sworn in, similar to what Mr. Martin just said. You will have 10 minutes to present your case. After the testimony is made from the podium to our right, we will have testimony from any opposing parties, if applicable. And at that point, we will ask you to actually have a seat after you have given your 10 minutes presentation. We will give the opposing party that same amount of time in which to make their presentation, after which we will only call you back up if we have questions for you. After that point, the board members will discuss the particulars, and then we will render a vote after that. Mr. Laverius. If you will state your name for the record and explain your variance request for us, please.
Absolutely. My name is Michael Cotton. And when we purchased the property in, I believe it was 2013, we reached out to what we thought was the proper offices. We called the Powder Springs and asked them, about what we needed to do to be able to erect a basketball court. We originally wanted to put one on our driveway, but the homeowners association wouldn't allow it. So the only place that we could put it was in the backyard. So we were told then that as long as it didn't affect our impervious space allotment, that we could erect it. So we put up a gravel basketball court, and we put in like a plastic, pliable kind of kind of tiles that link together, so that it would remain, it wouldn't count against the impervious space allotment. And it was fine until we got a notice saying that it was an issue, and that's when we realized that it didn't meet the requirements for the setbacks. So that's what brought us here. There's no, it's a neighborhood without any recreation space for kids, and we have 3 kids that put it to good use. And now the home is for sale. Well, we actually closed. We're closing on the 30th, and the new occupants have little kids as well. So that's why we're here, just to try to ensure that, whatever the outcome is, just want to make sure that they have the chance to enjoy it like my family has.
Thank you. Is that all that you have to share with us?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. If you would have a seat for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in opposition? Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cotton. Can you come back up? I've got a few questions, so. I'm sorry we made you pace back and forth. You're not old enough to have to worry about that yet. Let's see. Can you go ahead and give me the dimensions roughly of this court?
I think it's 25 by 15.
And is there just one hoop on it?
Just one hoop.
And that's towards the center of the backyard?
Yes,
Is there any lighting on it at all?
there's none.
Okay. What hours, obviously daylight hours, but what hours is it usually used?
It's rarely used now, but when they were younger, it would, after school, so between the hours of like 4 and before dinner, so between 4 and 6:37.
And if we placed a time restriction of 9, no use after 9 p.m., would that, you think, be fair?
I think that would be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be fair.
Tell us what the surface is.
It is called sport court, so it's a plastic, kind of like Lego type material, but it's porous. And then beneath that, it is just pressed gravel. And the borders are those yard logs, you know what I mean, to kind of hold it all together.
Were there any complaints from the neighbors of any kind?
No. That's why it was such a surprise. It had been there 7 years. And now again, like my kids, my daughter's graduating college this year. I got a kid graduating high school. My youngest son is 15 and rarely uses it. So this is really just for the people that have just purchased a home.
What fencing, if any, is there between your basketball court and the nearest neighbor's backyard?
Just that right side, that side right there.
What height is that?
6 feet. At the highest, probably 5.5. It's one of those, kind of fences that move kind of like that. I think at the highest point is 6 feet, but probably at the lowest is maybe 5.5.
And what's it made out of?
Wood.
Okay. All right. Well, if any of my fellow members of this board have any questions for the applicant?
I'd just like to, for code enforcement purposes, you have till 9 p.m., that's dark, and we don't want it lit. So if it went to dusk, then even with time frames, that you wouldn't, when dusk hits, there's no more playing, therefore we don't need lighting.
Earlier up. Yeah. You can have a seat for a second. Any staff comments on this? Were there some staff comments or recommendations subject to any conditions at all that we need to add?
Nothing from staff.
Okay. So my application, my motion will be for approval of the application, subject to the following restrictions: use of the court to occur or to end each day by the earlier of 9 p.m. or dusk. No lighting to be added. Given the existence of the fence, those are the only conditions I would place on this.
Can we have a second, please?
Second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Fred Beloin and second by Barkley Russell. Can I have your votes, please? Passes 5-3.
5-0.
I'm sorry.
5-0.
Passes 5-0. Let me be clear. Pardon that. What did I say, 5-3? Okay. I was thinking about baseball, excuse me. My son's playing today, I apologize.
Ms. Willis, if I can say, I just want to commend the homeowner for cleaning up sir, I want to commend you for cleaning up the property prior to a new owner taking over. We see a lot of cases where people get a property and have to kind of come in behind it and fix things. So thank you for being a good property owner.
Well, with that being said, I believe that we have concluded our, I'm sorry, is there other business? Okay, yes. We have also on the agenda V80, which is an amendment. Mr. Martin, can you give us details on that, please?
Okay, thank you. Yes, the final item on our agenda is to amend something previously adopted, and this is concerning item 1. Section 17.02 of the Board of Zoning Appeals Hearing Procedures, adopted January 11th, 1994, and last revised December 15th, 2021, allows the Board of Zoning Appeals to amend an action taken in a previous hearing. This item would be to amend the motion by the Board of Zoning Appeals for V80 of 2022, which took place in September, as listed in the official minutes of the September 14th, 2022 meeting. The stipulation that needs to be amended in the motion to perfect the record is V80, Madison Reike, Foresight Group, requesting a variance to waive individual parking ratios for each tenant in favor of an overall parking ratio of 1 space per 300 square feet of net floor space for the center and outbuildings in land lot 1028 and 1029 of the 16th District, located on the west side of Roswell Road, north of Robinson Road. The motion was to approve V80, and the corrected record should state, subject to the revised site plan dated August 19th, 2022, pertaining to number of parking spaces only, attached and made part of these minutes. And that's it.
This was my case, so I would like to make a motion, as you just stated, regarding the revised site plan dated August 19, 2022, pertaining to number of parking spaces only, attached and made part of these minutes.
Can we have a second, please?
Second motion to amend.
We can vote. Passes 5-0. Thank you, everyone. That is it for our regular case agenda. We are now in the position to handle some housekeeping items. Specifically, we need to approve the minutes from our last BZA hearing and our last work session. Have we all had a chance to review said minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your votes. Approved 5-0. We are now ready to adjourn. Can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Cast your votes. 5-0. We are adjourned at 1:52.